Hey everybody, welcome back to the Galloway Farm YouTube channel. My name is Caitlin, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to blanch squash. We have a ton of squash out of the garden, way too many to eat before they go bad, so today I'm going to be preserving it to keep it fresh for longer. If you've never blanched anything before, it's super easy. Blanching is the process of stopping the vegetables or fruit from aging and losing its nutrients, color, and freshness. When you blanch something, you put it into boiling water, transfer it to ice cold water, and then you put it into your bag and then put it in the freezer. It's also just a great skill to have even if you don't have a garden of your own. If you like fresh vegetables, you go to the farmer's market and you get vegetables there rather than going to the grocery store and getting vegetables off the shelves where they've been there for God knows how long. Blanching is just a great way to get those fresh vegetables and eat them all year long while they're not in season. Now the downside to blanching vegetables is that you can't fry them, and that is a bummer because I love fried squash. It is my favorite way to eat fried squash, but there's a ton of different ways that you can use it, like stewed squash with onions, and then my favorite, my cheesy scallop squash recipe, and you can find that probably on our Instagram page, which I'll link below. But there's so many other ways to use the squash, and then you can also blanch a bunch of different vegetables like tomatoes, peas, corn. There's so many vegetables to blanch. So I'm going to be blanching my squash in batches of 4, so I'll have 5 batches altogether, and I've already got these Ziploc bags labeled with today's date and what I'm going to be putting in them. And then the first thing we're going to be doing is starting to cut up our squash in slices. Alright, so I've got my little station set up. You can see here that I've got 1 bowl for each batch of squash. And then we've got our water here coming to a boil. It's not quite there yet, so I'm going to give it a little bit longer. And then we've got our ice water bath, slotted spoon, and our bags ready for the squash to be put in. So what we'll end up doing is 1 bowl at a time, putting our squash in the boiling water, letting it boil for 1 minute. It's important that you don't cook it any longer than a minute because you don't want the vegetable to cook all the way through. You only want it to cook long enough to inactivate the enzyme that stops the vegetable from aging. So then once it's in the boiling water for 1 minute, we're going to transfer it to the ice water bath for 1 minute. And then once it's in there for the minute, we're going to use the slotted spoon to scoop the squash out and then put it in the bags. And then after that, they're ready to go in the freezer. Water has come to a full rolling boil, so I have my first bowl of squash here, so I'm going to dump it in carefully. And then we're going to set a timer for 1 minute. So it has been 1 minute, so I'm going to take my slotted spoon and scoop out the squash and then dump them into the ice water bath. Alright, and we're going to set that timer again for 1 minute. Alright, so our squash have been in the ice water bath for 1 minute, so now I'm going to scoop out the squash and put them in the Ziploc bag. If you get a little bit of ice in with the squash, it's no big deal since it's all going in the freezer anyways. And just like that, our squash are ready to go in the freezer. You can also squeeze out as much air as possible. And then, once you're ready to put it in the freezer, make sure it's flat. And that helps for easy stacking as well. So now we're gonna just repeat that process with each batch of squash. Whenever your ice melts in your ice water bath, always add more ice to keep it cold. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned a lot about blanching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below and we'll respond. And if you like the video, you know to give it a thumbs up and to please subscribe to our channel because it helps us out a lot. Also, I just want to add, I did wash the squash before I cut them, so don't come for me, but I just forgot to mention that part. See you in the next one.